and a warm Pacific greetings to you all. Man, what an amazing morning. I'm still feeling a little bit, what do you call it when it's, is it jet? Well, it's not when you're flying down, it's jet lag. What do you call it when you're driving down? I'm not sure, but it's still like an amazing morning to be here. Today we have the amazing Lorenzo Kaisara from Local Doctors for our Talanoa. Good morning, Lorenzo. Well, mate, oile nei tai au.
Pea, yeah, good morning. I'm great, I'm good.
Yeah.
Just thank God for, waking us up this morning and adding another day to our lives. So, yeah, it's a beautiful morning.
And, of course, our number one, our host, we've got Ryan and, of course, Hana this morning. Man, how are you guys this morning and how was the weekend?
The weekend was great. I got some very well-needed sleep. Yeah.
It's always the sleep.
Yeah, I'm on the same boat as Ryan. I like to spend my weekend sleeping and spend some time with some family, but it was really good.
Yeah.
Feel nice and ready for the week.
Yeah, I think I bombarded Facebook over the weekend because I had an amazing roadie with a family down to Wellington, and we had a few little pit stops, but it was an amazing trip this weekend. And again, it's another amazing morning. It's a little bit chilly.
What were some of the things you enjoyed down there?
What I think, to be honest, is how beautiful New Zealand actually is. And I think a lot of the times we are so focused on trying to leave New Zealand, but New Zealand actually have some amazing places. We went through to Braxmere. I didn't even know there was a location called Braxmere where it was just in a secluded area outside of, like, you literally step out. I'll send some photos through to Ryan, and some footage. But you literally just step out in the lakes there.
Wow.
And we actually did a time lapse as well of the sunrise, and it was stunning, like just peaceful. It's just how beautiful New Zealand actually is. If you take the time to enjoy it, not rushing through to get to a location, but you actually have to take the time to enjoy it.
I do not disagree with you because we are the land of Lord of the Rings. So
yeah,
There you go.
that's all we need to say.
that's all we need to say. But of course, we want to be able to get you up in the morning and be inspired and be motivated, because we know how difficult it is to get up in the morning. So let's start off with our quote of the day, because you know what? Sometimes instead of scrolling through, we're going to dissect those quotes of the days, because, sometimes we kind of need it. But my ones, I'll start with mine. It's really, really straightforward. It's simple. Live every moment, laugh every day, and love beyond words. That's my quote for the morning.
I love that. It's like one of those quotes that you have on a canvas on your wall. Yeah.
In the morning, you just, and you know what? I think we're so used to seeing the quotes on the wall or on Facebook. And you know what another idea is? You can actually have it on your, you know how you have the carpets just outside your door, so that when you step outside and you
That's
read
a good idea.
hey,
Yeah.
you
Or
just-
when you come back home as
or
well.
come back home,
Yeah.
it's just something that you can be like, yeah, I am going to have a good day. I'm going to.
Yeah.
But that's my quote.
Just do the post-it thing where you write like inspiring quotes and just stick them all over your
Yeah.
house.
Oh, yeah.
So whenever you open a cupboard,
Oh, that's right. Positive thoughts.
yeah.
And your mind is like lost in the negative.
It's like, that's right, I'm beautiful this morning. I love it. I love the ideas. Renzo, I'm pretty sure you look like you have one of those really amazing quotes that's going to be able to get us up in the morning.
Man, Pea, I'm still trying to think of what my quote should be. But what came to mind this morning is, we're all familiar with FOE, family over everything. But I think for me it's MOE, me, myself, over everything. It kind of relates to what you said, it's all about looking after yourself. Because if you can't look after yourself, then you can't look after your kids, you can't look after your wife and your parents and family. So for me, we are all about FOE, but we forget about MOE, and that is myself over everything.
I absolutely love that,
love that.
Lorenzo, because when you put, people think it's a selfish idea to put yourself first, but you can only ever look after anyone until you look after yourself. So no matter how much your heart wants to give, you can't do that to its full potential unless you've looked after yourself, which is a beautiful quote.
Oh, man.
That definitely got me going.
Definitely going to get me going. What about you guys?
My quote for today is something that I used to really push out on Facebook, because I was like, it's there is power in positivity.
Wow.
If you keep a bright kind of outlook on life, it feeds into what you get back. With the relationships that you hold, with the work that you do. If you keep a positive mindset, the only way that you can go is up from there.
Yeah.
Like once you start getting the negative thoughts, then things start dragging you down.
Right.
Well, you gotta try and break out of that cycle.
Release you.
Yeah. Yeah, and I love that because I know I'm just going to refer back to the trip down to Wellington. It was my very first roadie, and I had a really negative mindset. I had bad vibes. I was too scared. It was the fear of having lives in my hand that, and it crept up on me. I was like, oh my gosh, I've got 3 hearts in my car, and then I have to return them back home. I allowed that mindset to manifest in me, and I was just like freaking out. And my surrounding, and it comes back to our surrounding as well, they just kept a positive mindset. Bear, you can do this. We can do this. You've got this, and don't worry. And they trusted. It was that whole trust.
Right.
And so then we played positive music. We were laughing. We were singing. So you're right. You're absolutely right. It's that positive mindset that you have to manifest and trust that everything's going to be okay.
And when you are that person, being that positive person, you breathe life into someone,
Yes.
into people. In whatever you do, regardless of if you're just a sound technician or you're a host or whatever you do. But if you always remain positive, you can only breathe life into someone. And it sort of relates to what Pea said, and you can be a great example. People look up to you. People want to see the more of you because you're such a positive person and you are a great example
100%.
for many people.
Yeah.
And I think what's important with what Pea said was environments. She said before going down, you had a lot of thoughts going on that weren't so healthy, but because everyone around you was positive, environment's so important. And if you're a positive person, you're providing the environment, and like Lorenzo said, you're also breathing that life into people. So what a good point.
I love it.
What do you do if you are in a negative environment, though? What would you do, Hana? Would you step out? Would you leave, or would you, stay in that environment and fight those battles?
Right. That's a very hard question because sometimes people have to be surrounded. It could be their family. They're surrounded by. Can you just leave your house and you can't afford the rent prices here? It requires a lot of mental resilience. Sometimes when you're put in situations where you're surrounded by those people, you have to be. You have to put up with it, and you need to prompt yourself and find your tribe. If you can't find that at home or a place that you have to find positive people. But if it's your friends who are constantly negative and putting you down, leave.
Yeah.
That's my first advice to anyone. If they say, oh yeah, my friends laugh and say this and that, but I'm just like, no, just leave.
Yeah.
You don't need them. You don't need that energy in your life.
Yeah.
So I'm a leaver. What about you?
What about myself? I totally agree with you. When it comes to family, it's really hard to leave, especially when you are, brought up and you are part of that environment. But my advice, for example, if someone is in that situation, my advice is to seek help, seek support, and you don't have to be negative like others, in your family. You really don't have to be. And be an example, because if people see you as you're leading by good examples, they can follow you.
Yeah, true.
But when it comes to your group, when it comes to your circle of friends, I totally agree with Hana. Leave.
Yeah.
There's no need for you to be in that environment.
Yeah.
Man,
but
I love that.
Sorry, Pea.
Yeah.
What you were saying about being an example, that's such a hard job.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If you're around negative people and you have this mindset where oh no, I'm going to be the good person so I can lead, just know that if you're going to choose to do that, it's going to come with so much mental stress.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it's not an easy job. It's not an easy job. So I thought I'd put that out there. But the reason why I'm always telling people to leave is because, what you said, put yourself first.
That's right.
Put yourself first. You can't take care of anyone unless you put yourself first.
It is. I mean, it was so important. To be honest, normally we talk about all the positive, right? And it was so good that you prompted us to talk a little bit about that negative side, because it's life. as much as we'd love to be positive and bring light in every situation that we do have, it's also important to discuss that sometimes we are stuck in a negative environment or in a space that is draining us of that positive, vibes. But it was important that we do discuss it, because I think for me, like you mentioned, it is important to stay within family and try and allow that family to take that energy or breathe that positive energy. But at the same time, it's so important, even though we want everyone to take our example.
That's right.
We also have to really take care of ourselves, because I know that there's some days, I think recently I kind of snapped a little bit.
Another example, sorry, we're taking a bit too long on this topic, but I would say to especially our young ones, our young, youth, if it's not your battle, don't fight it. Leave. There is no need. If you gain nothing from it, no need to fight that battle. It's a losing battle already, because you're just gonna spend a lot of energy on it. And there is no need. That's not going to put food on your table or pay the bills.
That's right.
Well, I'm feeling super inspired this morning. I'm ready to work.
But it is. It's those who don't add value to your life and who aren't, unfortunately, family, it's you have to kind of find a way to navigate through the whole family situation.
That's a very difficult thing,
It's a different kind of space. And you always have to find a way. But when it comes to friends who don't add value, but because you can, because they don't add value or they don't bring anything to the table that's going to contribute to your life the way that family does. So that's my 5 cents. But, we hope that you're pumped this morning, but I know that Hannah's, did you have a
Yes, I have my quote, which kind of molds nicely with our conversation this morning. It's expect nothing, appreciate everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm loving this segment in the morning, because it, honestly, not only does it, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
I like it because a lot of times in life, we're always, well, not we, but like a lot of people always find that they have to, if they give, they have to receive.
Receiving.
They have to receive. So I'm big on just giving what you can give, giving if it's in your capacity, and giving because you want to. But not like, they didn't give me anything back, and then having a bitter attitude. So it's best to appreciate everything, or that people give back to you and never hold it against anyone.
It takes me back to something I said on one of our earlier shows. The way you set up your expectations is the way you receive the disappointment when you don't meet those expectations. So if you're constantly receiving disappointment, change your expectations. Just like tweak them a little bit so that you can keep that positive mindset going.
I'm just like looking at you guys. Have you been reading my diary? I'm like, have you guys been reading my diary?
I think your quote for today, Hana, it reflects me back to the aranga upufasa moa olara I le whamanuanga o le tautua, the pathway to blessings. I don't really like saying the pathway to authority, because I'm not a fan of saying that word, because you're taking control over something or over people. But the pathway to blessing is through service, and it relates to your quote this morning, Hana, because we sort of like measure the way we serve, with what we get back. And once we get nothing back, then we stop serving. We stop serving, and then we sort of like limit the tautua or the service that we offer, because that's not going to get you anything. It's not going to, an envelope is not coming back. When we do city, when we offer something, we offer because of pure love. And pure love expects nothing, like your quote this morning. What would you like to add, Pea?
I totally agree. Pure love, it hits different. I'm going to say that again. I haven't said that in a while, but you are
that
right.
is, by the way, Bear's infamous quote.
It hits different. But you're right, because when you like, I know I'm going to be honest, and I'm going to use my personal experience. My expectations of, the significant other is so high that I'm applying it to this person, and I'm like thinking to myself, well, if I don't expect that person to apply it, to me and how I give, then why should I expect it from him? So I think in certain situations we do need to just be realistic and be real about, you know, your expectation, because you're right. It's like sometimes it misleads you, and it just takes you into a direction that you kind of like, oh, damn it, there's no U-turn here. So I think, I love that quote.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes we forget.
When it comes to the cultural context, you know, for Samoa, you know, when we give a si'i or a mea lofa for a funeral or a wedding or any cultural occasion, sometimes it makes me, when I go to take a si'i, sometimes I feel like, okay, maybe I shouldn't the saufainga, you know, or le ainga lea, because surely they're going to give something back, and it's going to make it hard for me to take it home or accept it. So sometimes what I do, I break, you know, cultural protocols, you know, I sort of, instead of going through the front door, I just go through the back door and just give it, hey, I'm sorry for your loss, but here's the envelope. And I'm not expecting anything back. And I think we should exercise that as well.
Yes.
It comes from, you know, a genuine heart,
Yes.
true love. But it's not about, you know, you're not Samoan, you know, okay, you're not Samoan anymore.
True.
But it's about doing what you feel is right, sits right with you, because, you know, you're giving 500 and you're getting $1,000 back.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense, eh?
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense.
It's funny that we're talking about, I know that this is probably a topic that we do need to discuss on a different show, but I know that also with that as well, I've because I'm famous for it, because obviously I don't know how to navigate my way through le wha Samoa. So, you know, a lot of the time for me, with a genuine pure heart, I like to give like that. That's me. However, I've also learnt as well over the past few, you know, months and, you know, maybe the last 2 years, that it's also sometimes the family may take it as a sign of like disrespect. And this is not all families.
You're right.
This is not all families, and it's not necessarily the particular person that you're gifting to. It's the outside family. So it's quite hard. It's that balance. You just have to get that balance right.
I think
sometimes,
in situations like that, Pea, it's good to remember the parable of Jesus and the widow, you know, who came with her, the little that she had.
Yeah.
So in saying, you know, this is how the giver can handle the situation, is that we gave with our whole hearts. But as the receiver, you have a responsibility too, to keep a humble heart, to understand that those who are giving, but you know, not everyone's going to be like that. Let's not pretend we're perfect.
But you know, Jesus also says that, you know, what your left hand gives, make sure your right hand can see.
Yeah,
you know, you got to
that's
give it like, you know, what do you call it? I don't know what to say about that. But when it comes to I'm sorry, you know, this topic has got me thinking a lot, because it has a massive impact on our people, especially families. You know, the acknowledgement, you know, and the way we entertain, you know, when we hear our names, you know, being called out, you know, le swafa o le sunga ya la fai ya lua se lau ka la, tolu se lau ka la. It plants something in people's hearts, you know, that competition, you know. So for me, I don't know the answer for that, but all I can say is it has a massive impact. Yeah. And it breaks families as well.
It does.
So, you know, I think it might be a very nice topic to
discuss later on.
Yeah.
No, definitely something new. But guys, we've had some amazing, positive quotes this morning to get you up for your day, because man, honestly, and I love that, Hana. I think everyone's definitely shared the power of positive quotes, but also it was nice to have a discussion about what would you do in a sticky situation as well if you're in a negative environment. But that's us, guys. We're going to go into a quick music break, and this jam is probably one of the favorites. It's Maoli, in case you didn't know, dedicated to all of our viewers this morning. We'll see you soon. Don't go anywhere.
Times I almost said what's on my mind, but I didn't. Just the other day, I wrote down all the things I'd said, but I couldn't. I just couldn't. Baby, I know that you've been running. Oh, so here goes nothing. In case you didn't know, baby, I'm crazy about you. I would be lying if I said that I could live my life without you. Even though I don't tell you all the time, you had my heart a long, long time ago. In case you didn't know, the way you look tonight, that second glass of wine, that did it. There was something about the kiss, girl, you did me in. Got me thinking, I'm thinking. One of the things that I've been feeling, oh, it's time you hear 'em. In case you didn't know, baby, I'm crazy about you. I would be lying if I said that I could live my life without you. Even though I don't tell you all the time, you had my heart a long, long time ago. In case you didn't know, you got all of me, and I belong to you. You're my everything. In case you didn't know, baby, I'm crazy about you. I would be lying if I said that I could live my life without you. 'Cause even though I don't tell you all the time, you had my heart a long, long time ago. In case you didn't know, in case you didn't know, in case you didn't know, in case you didn't know. In case you didn't know.
Talofa and welcome back. Welcome back to the Pacific Morning Show. We've reached the point in our show where we start hitting the hard topics. We start hitting the deep conversations, the DMCs, as we had noted before. And for today, we're talking about drinking culture. Obviously, growing up, especially Pacific Islanders, we love a good party. We love a good drink. But sometimes people take it too far. Sometimes people really don't. They lose control when they're under the influence. And that's what we want to talk about today. So what are you guys' thoughts on that?
I think it's a perfect topic to discuss.
Yeah, for sure. Let's go. Boom. Straight to Lorenzo because he's our honorary guest today.
I think, as a great topic, we should never stop talking about it. Alcohol and the impact that has on our families, especially, your own self. And like you said, it's a massive topic within Pacific families, Samoan families. Let's just talk about Samoan families. My dad used to drink. My brothers drink, but my oldest brother has stopped drinking. So there's a time in your life when you realize drinking is not good for you. It's not your thing.
Yeah.
But for me, I do drink, but I drink occasionally. And I never, ever, and this is my message out to to our listeners and our viewers, don't ever let alcohol control you.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that we shouldn't be drinking, and I'm not saying that we shouldn't consume alcohol, but don't ever let alcohol take control of you.
Yeah.
we all want to have, a good time. It's especially if you've had a massive week, week of full of workload, a busy week. You just want to wind down. You just want to sit down, relax, watch a game, and have a few. But when you decide to take it to the next level, like you said, that's when the problem comes. What do you think, Pea?
I think everyone is familiar with that. I do enjoy a couple of drinks, and I agree. There's nothing wrong with it. The drinking culture in New Zealand is quite. I mean, I think globally they've also had discussions about it. That we're a nation that heavily drinks, not just Pacifica,
the whole country.
The whole country. The culture is we just love to have a good time. I mean, I remember going to Australia, their alcohol prices, I do not know how anyone can pay that, but their prices are triple our alcohol prices. But my thoughts on that is definitely I agree, alcohol control you. I mean, I grew up and I didn't realize that alcohol was actually a drug until maybe the last 5 years, because they never actually presented the stats in front of you. It was just to have a few beers here and there, and it did get at the earlier stages of my life, it did affect me because I thought that was the only way to be cool. The only way to be cool is to drink with my friends, is to go and, but that is so wrong. I mean, man, you can be cool. You can do, for example, we'll take Lorenzo for example. You don't need to consume alcohol to do the fun things that you can, because
Amen.
Most of Lorenzo's TikToks, alcohol free, and he still is, he still brings that life into
Lorenzo
it,
has
right?
a natural fun energy.
It's that fun energy, and you don't need alcohol.
You know what's funny, Pea? Because we did a show in Samoa on the beach, with Lesunga Vaai for the Sa.
Yeah.
And then I saw some comments, how many have you had? And I'm like,
You don't know Lorenzo.
we don't need that,
Exactly.
be us.
Yeah.
So I totally agree with what you say, Pea.
I honestly really think that drinking culture needs to change for sure. I mean, I'm at the age now where I can control it, and I can, the peer pressure is not, it's not, I'm all good. Like when someone says bottoms up, when I'm famous for saying bottoms up to everyone, I'm like, guys, bottoms up, bottoms up. Well, actually, don't bottoms up. It's not even that cool to bottoms up, because it's going to get you to a stage where you can't control your liquor, and then you're legless, and that's not good.
Yeah.
Hannah's got all the stats for us.
I know. Hannah, share the stats.
So my laptop died.
The damaging stats of the New Zealand drinking culture.
Yeah, my laptop died, but the stats that I did read is 80% of New Zealand adults who are of age drink.
Yeah.
And drinking causes more accidents and more damage to society than meth, cocaine, heroin, or anything.
Agree.
Yeah. So those are some of the facts that. Did you have any facts that you wanted to share about alcohol?
No, but I just wanted to comment on that. That is, as much as I understand that that's a thing, it's a surprising stat considering how ingrained alcohol is in marketing and into our wider culture. Rugby teams being sponsored by alcohol companies, on ads on TV. Drink this and you can be in a stadium in Spain watching soccer or something.
And then you've got the famous All Blacks. They've been sponsored by Steinlager
Steinlager,
for a very long time.
Yeah.
And us, young people, we look up to these athletes, to these sports people as role models. It's the same as when a sports person hits a woman. It's all over on the news.
Yeah.
Exactly the same. And then we hear people saying, "Oh, okay, you got to lead by example. You're a role model." What about the sponsorship? Of alcohol? What about that?
That brings up the Manly scandal with the LGBTQ colors. You're gonna take one part of your principle to not wear that, but what about the alcohol colors on your shirt as well?
Doesn't that have an impact on?
Yeah, I think it does. And I know that there are. I believe that there has been a position that they've put forward with regards to sponsorship or alcohol companies and their place in sponsorships for sports and arenas. And I know that there's, I think there's talk about it, and I know that there's a link as well that I think we'll share it as well, that they will stop big companies like Steinlager and all, Woodstock is probably another one, to sponsor these games and these sports arenas, because it doesn't even, the alcohol, there's no connection with alcohol in sports apart from the after party. But again, after parties, it's part of our drinking culture here in New Zealand.
Yeah, I personally don't have problem with alcohol. Like, wine as an art, how they ferment the berries, making beer. People are passionate about the taste of the beer. And it doesn't mean that if you like alcohol, you're automatically assumed as a heavy drinker. I think where the problem lays is the addiction and the overuse, like what you guys mentioned. And that's why I think New Zealand's drinking culture is very toxic. Yeah. Because a lot of people who travel overseas, their drinking culture is quite different. You go into a bar, you have 3, and then you go home, and then that's done. But it's very normal here to be like, oh, what box do you want? From the thingy, and then it's
how
like,
many boxes are you gonna drink?
Yeah, exactly. And then you have your box, and you make sure everyone else has boxes, and you all know you're gonna get completely thrashed or wasted. And I think that part is toxic because it leads to other unintentional consequences. Like, for example, myself, I've been to drink ups and I didn't want to drink. I just wanted to chill with everyone. But I felt forced or coerced to drink and join that culture. But obviously I said no because I'm very good with boundaries. Well, now I am compared to how I was before. But, what if it's someone who's a recovering alcoholic? Someone who's going through something and they're coming they don't want to be left out. They want to come to the party, but there's that pressure, that peer pressure.
When it comes to us looking after each other, when it comes to party, I've been to a few that we are encouraged, to drink the same amounts of alcohol. If you're not sipping your bottle, then you're almost like, what are you doing here? You're almost like, come on.
Like an imposter, right? Like an imposter.
Like, and then we all count to 3 and then finish it.
Finish it, yeah.
Yeah, that's the drinking culture that we don't want. We want to get rid of that. We want to chuck it, to maybe Australia or America. But then when it comes to South Auckland, it always makes me sad. When we talk about alcohol, avamalusi, and hear the name South Auckland, it's not good. Yeah. So not good, because we've got like liquor stores situated in South Auckland, and they're all about 10 minutes walking distance from each other. Yeah. And then we've got West Auckland, where they don't sell alcohol in supermarkets. Yeah. How is that fair? Yeah. Then it makes me ask question, who makes the decisions to grant licensing to these liquor stores? Who does that? And then we've got our local board members, our councillors, who are saying, okay, we need to protest. We need to set up a strike outside these liquor stores. Okay, before that, who make the decision to grant a license?
The council.
Do we have any reps, any Pacific reps on that table? Yeah. Before it even gets to before what do you call it? A liquor store gets open up, right across the school. Who makes these calls? I want to know who.
Yeah. And I think you should, Lorenzo works for local doctors, so that's a really good, that's a space he's in and he's passionate about as well. So I'd love to see you on that board, Lorenzo, making 100%. Some hearty decisions for South Auckland.
People who drink those.
No, but again, it's that drinking culture. You're right. Who makes these decisions? Why have they made it so available to South Auckland? It's because they know that, because the culture in I'm not saying it's West Auckland's the same. I know that, I'm not saying it West Auckland, but I've got family out West Auckland who have the same drinking culture.
Yeah, for sure.
But, West Auckland or the council or whoever's made the decision, they've put their foot down. We need the same for South Auckland. And I'm not saying, I enjoy going out. I enjoy having a couple. But since I have, it's actually been quite, an interesting topic, because when Hana brought it up about the drinking culture, and I kind of had to just kind of like step back a little bit and look at myself and thought, man, I'm actually embarrassed that I was one of those people at the parties. Just drink up, man. It's all good. Oh, no, don't. Why'd you come? Why did you come? I think we now need to be, I think we need to change it, because it's okay to have. I mean, my sister, she doesn't drink, but she'll turn up to a party. She'll enjoy it, but she'll also say, guys, just don't do that. But it does affect, because the more you drink, and then we used to have this, last man standing. Give it up with the last man standing, because the last man standing doesn't go to work the next day.
Oh, yeah,
So
that's such a flex.
drop
People
Don't
always flex that,
It's not
like,
flex
I can
anymore.
drink you under the table. I've always thought that was like, I understand why people think that way. Like, I'm the meanest drinker, but it's just like, you get to an age where it's like,
The biggest flex really should be, is your friend getting home safely?
yes,
Are
amen.
they getting behind the wheel? Will they get back home to their family?
Amen.
Will it affect, their work? Because I was able to, had I had that drinking culture, drink to the bottom, blah, 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 in the weekend, I wouldn't be at work today, because that alcohol would still be in my system, and I'll still be tired, and I wouldn't make it to work today. And I think it's important, because now the drinking culture is going to affect how our young people are now jumping behind the wheel and driving, but the drinking cultures, it just needs to change.
Can I just also add, Pea, having all these liquor stores in South Auckland is worse than an advertisement and an ad on TV, because we constantly see it every day, and it's like it's almost like those loan sharks, ads on TV where you start to think, it's going, nah. And then 2 months later, you actually go to one of those, loan sharks and get money, and then you end up with a lot of debts. That's the same as having all these liquor stores in our community as an advertisement. It's worse than
It is.
seeing that ad on TV. And now, and then I want to have a talanoa about the impact of alcohol on our families, as a person. And then there's financial hardships, caused by alcohol, by drinking. And then there's violence, domestic violence, between couples, and family violence as well. And then there's, like you mentioned, I want to acknowledge what you said about you not turning up to work, or us not turning up to work because we were so wasted on a weekend. Then who's going to suffer? Your account is going to suffer.
And also
your kids
the
are gonna
kids,
suffer.
No, that's super important what you're saying, because when we're weighing out the pros and the cons, you had a good weekend, but was it worth everything that you lost? And what you said is super important, Lorenzo, like especially with domestic violence and alcoholism. It got to a point where they were going to bring it on Afterpay, but luckily
Josephine,
yes.
well done.
Shout out to Josephine.
And also to the community, because the community actually prompted her. It was the community. So massive congratulations to the Pamua community who, raised these, and alerted the council, because without you, she wouldn't have, known.
That's right.
But I know that, I joked about it. But again, for myself, I said, for me, I automatically think, and I'm not going to be, I'm going to be honest. At first I was like, this would be good. For me, the reason why is like, for things like events, because we have events business. But then I didn't think about the consequences of how it would affect the vulnerable community, making that service available. So again, there's two types of people. There's, there's different types of people. One will be like, yes, I get to have a massive drink up every weekend. But then they would not be able to keep up with the payment. And then there's someone who has a business mind, like, this is going to help with the business, and we can have these payment options for these events that we pop up. But it just comes down to the individual and making that service available.
That brings into question, like, were they thinking about the positives and negatives before they decided to do Afterpay, or were they only thinking about, wow, this is gonna increase our sales, this is gonna help our profits? Like, when people implement these decisions to make the access to alcohol a lot more easier for the community, then they have to think, like, what are the ramifications of that? What's going to happen?
Yep.
You're gonna allow a lot more vulnerable people to access it, and then we're gonna have a lot more problems.
That's right.
You really need to.
Our names will end up in Pay Corp.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Sometimes we forget about the afterpay,
Yeah.
and then 2 months later you get a letter from Big Eye. Sorry, But then that's another problem. But then we have all these raids, happening in Auckland, South Auckland, all over Auckland. Young people are now, breaking into liquor stores and dairies, mainly for smokes and liquor.
Yeah.
So then, doesn't that make the decision make us think and start to think? But then for me, it's almost like an institute. It's almost like a rehab center, South Auckland, where business people sell their alcohol. The people that are making decisions to grant all these licenses say, okay, we can grant a license to for liquor here in Manrewa, Papakura, Takanini, Orahu, Maangili, Otara. When you have a problem with alcohol, there's a rehab center. Ring this number. That's the saddest thing, I don't know.
It is the culture. But I have to admit, congratulations to every single location that I went to when I was driving outside of Auckland. I struggled to find a liquor store. I live in the heart of South Auckland, and
It's
honestly,
not hard.
not hard. Like, there's a liquor store literally like a few blocks away from my house. And this is across from the marae. This is near a school. 3 schools surround this liquor store.
And a supermarket.
And a supermarket. We sell it at the supermarket, which is, again, literally up the road. There's the supermarket, and then there's 2 liquor stores. And then you've got 2 liquor stores, literally, I'm surrounded by liquor stores. And when I was driving down, and I was like, I just kept telling myself, okay, I'm going to stop and buy me a bottle. Didn't find a liquor store outside of...
Wow.
Yeah. We managed to find one, but that was like a 20-minute drive outside of Wellington. But it wasn't, you know how normally in Auckland, there's one there. Or sorry, in South Auckland, one there. It was,
It's funny because when I went up to Pai here, I struggled to find one on the way after whangarei. And then just before, about 300 meters from Pai here, there was one liquor store, and they had a sign on the road, last liquor store before Pai here. Yeah. Sure. But then for me personally, I struggled to come to an understanding why we have many liquor stores in South Auckland, not in Central, not in Remuera, not in Kohimarama, not in Mission Bay, not in West Auckland. Why us? Why South Auckland?
Yeah.
Now, we've got Pacific MPs. We've got Pacific leaders. We've got Pacific councillors. We've got Pacific local board members. We have someone who's running as a mayor for Auckland. I urge to these people to do something because our young people are dying.
Yeah.
Our young people are getting thrown into jails because of alcohol-related incidents and offences. So do something. Let's stop talking about it.
Yep.
Find a solution.
Yeah.
Don't wait until the next election and then come up with a policy or something.
Yeah, exactly.
And then after that, I don't see it happening.
I think that's such an important thing you say. And just over this, listening to you guys speak, I thought exactly of what you brought up. Who is sitting on these boards, these trusts to allow these liquor stores to come? Because it's been a long time, man. A long time. And we see mangere, we're red. We bleed red in regards to politics. We support our Pacific MPs. And you're right. Something needs to be done about it.
Something needs to be done about it. And then another positive, thing that can happen when something is done about it, it saves a lot of money.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of money that are being funded, thrown into these organizations that are helping people who have alcohol problems. So imagine how much money we can save. Millions of dollars.
Yeah. Of course.
Millions of dollars.
I totally agree. I think it also, our local board members need to jump on board. But also our church communities as well. Man, let's jump on board. And our families, our aingas need to stop. I mean, I'm going to try very hard because I know that hands down, I have been, I've contributed to that culture. Whereas now I'm an adult and I'm making the decisions. No, I'm not. You don't have to tell me to drink the way you want me to drink. And it can be done. You can, that effect does have on your family, because now when I'm like, nah, I'm all good. Our family's like, yeah, true. Should we just do something else? You can direct, you can change the mindset. Because, you know, recently I've learned of someone who, you know, who has, the alcohol has impacted them and they could have potentially lost their lives. But, you know, by miracle, they were able to, you know, survive. So these are the things. Is this where we need to, is this the point our Pasifika families need to get to before we act? I think we have control now, so I think change it. Just change it. And I'm not saying to stop. No, we love entertaining. We love these. Just change that culture, because it also, again, we can put the responsibilities on our local board and stuff, but it also, we need to take responsibility as well. Because I think
that's such an important point there, because, you know, we talk about like, oh, why aren't these people doing things for us? You know, why can't they stand up for us? But at the end of the day, we're the ones who walk into the shop. Using their money to buy the alcohol. So families, our inga, our youth, our parents, our aunties, our uncles, we have to take responsibility. You know, at some stage we have to do our part and play our role in setting a healthy example for the next generation.
Because I think we have to look at it as a bigger picture as well. I mean, as soon as I get into the car, I haven't been drinking, but your nephew has been drinking. Just remember that the accident may not necessarily be the person that's drinking. The accident involved could be someone, your loved one, that the person who's been drinking will hit into. This person who didn't drink will probably be the one who loses their life, and then someone who survives has been the you know, the person that's consumed the alcohol. So we just need to take that approach, that mindset. We're all responsible. We just have to take it. You know, I know it's difficult, but man, it's hard.
Not impossible. Difficult, but not impossible.
I think I'm gonna end my sharing, you know, about this topic. On this topic, you know, with just saying, we have to make some hard decisions sometimes, especially us that do drink. And your life changes when you have a family, especially when you are, you know, you are a father. You know, if you used to consume a lot of alcohol before you have kids, you have to make that hard decision. It is time to stop, or time to slow down and save that money. You know, save that money. You really don't have to drink when you go out. You really don't have to. You don't have to, like you say, Pea, you don't have to have alcohol to have fun. You know, with your friends, your mates, even with your kids. You know, you really don't have to. But think about yourself first. MOE, myself, me, over everything. Your kids, your wives, and your families. And you can save a lot of money from not buying it, and you can save a lot of time. You can spend a lot of time with your kids and your families when you're not out drinking with your friends every weekend. That's a culture that you need to change. And also, you can save a lot of sick leave. There's going to be a lot of happy bosses out there, because, you know, every weekend, you know, on Monday, sorry, boss, I'm sick. You're not really sick, you know. You're just
still recovering.
You're just irresponsible
from the weekend. So, you know, take ownership of your, you know, be responsible with the way you drink. And if you do drink, please don't take that wheel. Please do not drive. Uber, to get from Manukau to Mangere on Uber, $10, $12. It saves your life. You know, leave your car at your friend's house. Leave your car at your family's. Uber home. You get home safely to your wife and your kids. That's my final advice.
Such an important Talanoa. Thank you, Lorenzo, for that. I think that's a great way to end off the segment. But we'll be right back. Thank you, Lorenzo, for your wise words. You can also find him on Facebook. We'll attach his Facebook page and also his TikTok. He makes some awesome stuff. And we'll be right back after the song break.
The general, so gas got a bar. Yeah, gas at Iguafu. Yeah, the mayor. Luma ilalo. Luma lima. Luma ilalo. Luma lima. Ay. unga mai ole música. O cada cosa le fai meica. I want feel like the lue mai se ole ngai kenye. Se mami le ai. Te unga e ke fai le. Ave ese ngama a oi la ukanga. Ole siva papa. Simba ko imale maka. Ay 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 ay. Ay 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 ay. Ay 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 ay. Ay 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 ay. Ese que puele lue mai siva. Awa mami le kai kai ka. E fa unga mai ole música. O cada cosa le fai meica.
Ale ua yei maa, sole ua ova ke le oloka. Ba ai leo o ke ngau, ai a kiri ai oa e pa pau pau. Se fai fa ale le mai foi, o au ngei o ke le koe foi. A o mami foi lea ua siva, on ka po o ke le koe ka.
Ay 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 ay. Ay 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 ay. Ay 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 ay. Ay 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 ay. Ese que puele lue mai siva. Awa mami le kai kai ka. E fa unga mai ole música. O cada cosa le fai meica. La mami siva mai. Uana o oe la upele. Se kilo mai. Uana o oe o la upe. Plopua rosa. La rosa rosa. Sala le manoni. Una o oe o te te wina. Da da da. Ay 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 ay. Ay 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 ay. Ay 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 ay. Ay 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 ay. Ese que puele lue mai siva. Awa mami le kai kai ka. E fa unga mai ole música. O cada cosa le fai meica.
E ka siva mama, lo so lo ia tau tuana. Tau siva for fua, o lo o siva tu foi o tua. A wala ba nei e vave vave, fa tani mali tata vale. Ole o lo fai le poloka, o mami ro koe fia lu le palola.
Ay 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 ay. Ay 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 ay. Ay 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 ay. Ay 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 ay. Ese que puele lue mai siva. Awa mami le kai kai ka. E fa unga mai ole música. O cada cosa le fai meica.
Welcome back to the Pacific Morning Shows. This morning we've had an interesting conversation with the brother Lorenzo Kaisara, who is a representative for local doctors, and of course our amazing host Ryan and Hana about the drinking culture in New Zealand, because man, it needs to change, and I'm not going to say it bottoms up anymore, I promise. So if you are watching, my family, yeah, I'm so sorry. It is going to change, but over the years, now that I'm I'm older now and I have to change my ways. So change your ways, guys. But that was fuki from Robin Akari. Man, she's the bomb. We all know what fuki means. It means like no money. Let's talk about how alcohol doesn't that contribution to no money. But man, let's talk about the TikTok for the day. Because honestly, let's be honest, we can't even get away from Mr. TikTok famous over here, which is Lorenzo.
So alongside working for local doctors, he's also a TikTok king. For those of you who don't know.
That's the TikTok king. But Hana's not far behind, because she's gonna take over. I know. I think our very first TikTok was with the brother Lorenzo back at the Pacific Business Company. That was pretty cool. But TikTok has gone off. We know that our Pacifica community love TikTok. So we thought we would share the TikTok for today. And it's none other than the brother Lorenzo. We're like the first one here. We're going to check it up now. And it's, of course, the issues we face with the famous call from Samoa. Do you get any calls from your family and you aware that they need money?
Honestly, no. But I see it happen all the time with like people around me. Like, I'm glad that my family in Niue is like
Yeah,
that doesn't ask.
But what about yourself, Hana? Do you get...
Mostly when it comes to whalaulaves. So when something happens, like, hello. The usual, yeah.
Hello, are you there? Well, this next TikTok is Lorenzo showing his advice on how to not answer and how to answer the call from Samoa.
I don't get calls, Pea, to be very honest,
Yep.
because I set up an AP.
Oh, is that your
Automatic
advice?
payment,
What's
you
an
know,
AP? Oh, automatic payment.
so that I don't get that call.
Efficient, smart, time savvy. Here we go.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, Pea, we still need to contribute. We still need to co-see our parents, and until they're gone,
Yeah.
they're no longer on this, on this earth. Then you stop, sending that money. That's for me. That's my understanding. I owe my parents a lot. Everything that I have now, and I always share it. The ole tomai, ole poto, it's all from God. But it was sent through my parents.
Yeah.
They are the ones that taught me. And who am I to question that phone call?
Yeah.
When I say, I'm sorry, mommy.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, mommy. But you had 2 boxes yesterday. So for me, I set up the automatic payments, every fortnight because I don't wanna make my parents feel like we're gonna call them. We're gonna call
True,
son
it puts
again.
them in an uncomfortable situation.
Yeah, put them in a comfortable situation because at the end of the day, they've done a lot for you.
Yeah.
They put you in schools. Sometimes we forget that.
Yeah.
And we only remember after we answer back and say a lot of things about mom
Yeah.
and dad. But for me, I don't get those calls anymore because I decided to set up an AP, and just like you say that. But I do get calls from my brothers and my sisters in Samoa, and I'm like, bro, go see mom and dad. That's what I say to them because they should be going to mom and dad, not to me. I send the money to mom and dad, and they are the one that should go to ask mom and dad for help. But my advice for how to answer, whether to answer or not to answer that call, you have to answer.
Yeah.
Short answer. You must take that call, especially if it's coming directly from mom and dad.
If it's mum
Because
and
that
dad.
might be the last time you talk to them.
Yeah.
You just never know. You never know. That's why up until now, I'm still trying to process how lucky I was and how blessed I was to be able to go over to Samoa and see mom and dad, see my parents. Man, that's a memorable opportunity for me to go over, and I would always be thankful to Samoa Tourism Authority for getting me over to Samoa because I got to a point where I was thinking, man, will I ever see mum and dad again? And every day I think about my dad is now 76 years old. Okay, that might be the last time I got to see my dad.
Yeah.
So never take anything for granted. Even if you send $20, $50 or $100, but take that call. Take that call.
That's,
If it's mum and dad.
Yeah.
No, and you're living in New Zealand. Your parents are in Samoa. My parents are here in New Zealand. And whenever I get, a bit of money, I always make sure to give some to mom and dad. But I couldn't imagine living in different countries, my parents in another country. So well done to yourself for doing that and encouraging that. I think that's a very good thing to do generationally. To teach our kids that as well. It's a very good value, I believe. Yeah.
I believe that after this, my dad's going to be Salilea Kala Lorenzo. The advice you have given this morning is absolutely right. But Lorenzo, Dad, if you're watching, it means if you live in Samoa, that is, I'm kidding. You're right.
No.
I mean, I know that we joke around about it and we've got all these videos that we always share. But here, check out Lorenzo's TikTok and then you will know exactly what we're talking about.
Hello? Tala? Hello? 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 Sorry, I can't answer your call at the moment. But if you can leave your name in a short detail message after I hang up. Tala, why are you pretending to be an answer phone again?
Haha, joke.
How are you?
I was a lot better before you call out.
Guys, man, se olo poko ia whai show. Renzo is always...
Multi-talented, I tell you. Multi-talented.
But you know
That's
what?
not what my wife says.
She's disappointed.
No,
But
she
she's
says triple talented.
or maybe silently proud of me, but never say it. I don't know.
silently
I'm
embarrassed.
I'm sure she's silently proud of you, Lorenzo.
Yeah. I
Of
hope
course,
so.
it's the S. But you know what, Renzo, this other TikTok, Fuki, we did play that one, but it's no cash. So, barara. It's been a very popular, TikTok.
Trending.
It's been a really popular trend. This means no money. What is it? Why do you keep posting these Fuki ones up on?
You know, firstly, I want to support our musicians, our artists. You know, by just if you see all my TikToks, I always use our own artist, music. So that's the first reason why I love the trend. Secondly, is because I can relate to it. You know, we just shared about that phone call that comes from Samoa, and then you look at it, and should I answer or not? And you look at it with crossed eyes like that.
Yeah.
But TikTok for me, man, it's another way of me just trying to process a busy week, and another way for me to reach out to people, and again, being positive.
Yeah.
You know, the brother mentioned this, earlier on about being positive and stay in that positive environment. I must say my kids love my TikToks, to be honest. You know, they watch it almost every night. You know, they can't go to sometimes they can't go to sleep without watching 2 or 3 of those TikToks, and then you just laugh and we just have a laugh, and then I'm like, oh, so if I'm putting that smile on my daughter, for me entertaining, why not? Why should I stop?
Yeah.
Why should I stop being me? A lot of people were surprised with they didn't know that side of me, but it's always been part of me. It's always been part of my life. You know, growing up in Samoa, I was known as that clown in school, and I was made.
And now
I was made
a cross-dresser, eh?
I was made a house leader in intermediate, Leafy intermediate, because I was that clown. Even though I wasn't in 8-1, 8-2, 8-3, where all the brainy students were, I was in 8-5.
Yeah.
But because I was that, Ulavali kid,
Yeah.
they made me a house leader. So, and it helped get me to where I am now. The confidence, speaking in front of people. I don't give a care.
Yeah.
I think people
when I
just
perform.
think like if they see your social media, they think they know you and everything you post. So these are the hidden talents of Lorenzo. And I'm sure everyone has hidden talents. We don't have to put everything on social media, but you do really well when you do execute it. When I see your TikToks, I'm like,
The man.
double tap.
But then I'm also using TikToks, because part of my role is to support our community. When I want to get a message out, you might have noticed with all my captions, it's all about positive messages. It's all about COVID-19. It's about mental health. It's about language week, another way to celebrate. Like I did one for almost every language week. It's just another way of supporting those awarenesses,
It's putting the message out where the people are.
Exactly.
And everyone's on TikTok.
Yeah,
everyone
everyone.
follows any Pacific content. Lorenzo will show up, and his language week messages will show up, and his COVID-19 messages will show up. No, but
Exactly.
it's really important, and it's a really
That's
good
right.
way to communicate with people.
Yeah.
It is, because
And
not
connecting.
everyone, not everyone wants to see a poster. Not everyone wants to see a photo. But nowadays, everyone wants to see this from Lorenzo. So
Fuki, yeah.
So check out the brother's TikTok, because this is one of my favorite ones as well, because he dresses like a female, and it's purple's your color. Purple's your color. This is
Now,
it here.
because of my daughter's favorite color is purple.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
cute.
she's, like I say, she's changed a lot Me. So now purple is my
Yeah.
favorite color. Second is always blue.
So if you're struggling this morning to get out of bed, check out this TikTok from the brother Lorenzo, Fuki, and we'll be back.
Dona General, so gas got a bar.
Yeah, gas at the guapo. Yeah, mira.
Luma ilalo, ma ilalo, ma ilalo. Luma lima, melo lima, melo lima. Luma ilalo, ma ilalo, ma ilalo. Luma lima, melo lima, melo lima. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. Ese que puele, luma esiva. Awa amamile, kai, kai, ka. Ipa ongamai, ole musika. Oka cosa le paimeka.
Man, that was awesome. I can't deal. But guys, I think everyone has, we've had a really good discussion, talking, points this morning. Thank you once again to the brother Lorenzo for making your time available this morning for the Pacific Breakfast Show. Hana, did you have any final words?
I really like your watch, Lorenzo.
Yes!
Yeah, so
But my eyes were like...
another blessing, from from the Usos who who are the owners for Matai Watches. So like I said, you serve from the back, behind the scenes, and then your blessings just come through. And this is one of the blessings that I received so far. So thank you so much, Matai Watches. If you want to buy one for your ex-boyfriends and ex-husbands, it's not too late to buy. Matai Watches might reconcile you and your ex-ing.
Oh,
if you buy one, it might be.
Yeah.
But
I need maybe two then.
But buy one for your dad, not for your husband. Buy one for your dad,
Yeah.
not for your husband. Or your husband can buy his own, but get one for your old man.
And I was just looking at their website earlier today. Really nicely priced, nice and affordable. Looks great. It looks like, you're going to blind everyone's eyes in a good way. It's like very eye-capturing. So we'll also put a link to their website if you want to purchase one of these Matai watches, which look awesome. But thank you so much, Lorenzo, for joining us today on our Good Morning Pacific show. And we look forward to having you on more.
I know, I
thank
can't
you.
wait.
I would just like to acknowledge, the management, le whiunga ia anai, if I Pea for ile Bluwave Limited Management, and also Pea, yourself, Hana, also Ryan. Thank you so much for having me. God bless, and may you have a good week. Ia manuia.
I think that's it. Did you have anything you wanted to share as well?
No.
Man.
I'm good. Yeah.
You know what? I've had a great morning. And we hope that you are going to have a great morning too, because that's us. Don't forget to join us again on Friday morning, because we've got some special guests coming up as well. That's us. Have a great morning. God bless. God bless.
That's our ending right there.